Well, it's time to start on the front corners. Be good to get the last of this shit off the floor. Today I'm going to clean up both front corners. I'm going to get 4 wishbones cleaned up and mounted back on the bike, and possibly the 2 shock absorbers. I'll leave the upright and brake for another day, I think. The A-arms came off pretty easily. They're clamped in top and bottom to the upright with a bolt that goes through in the groove there. The shocker unbolted. It's interesting, the shocker I don't think is on the lowest setting at the front here. It's on the second lowest setting. That particular one is. I haven't looked at the other one yet. Anyway, this is just to see the condition of these parts. They'll all clean up nice. I think I'll remove that brake hose. The clamp's missing there. I think I'll just release the line here so that comes away and it's not swinging in the breeze. I was just trying to work out, difficult to get the spanner on this 10mm pipe nut there, and I haven't got a spanner, like a spanner that sort of wraps around 3 sides. It'll go over a brake line, which is the proper spanner to use. This bleeder here, if it was out of the way, I'd be able to get the spanner in more positively in this direction. So I'm going to remove that bleeder completely and then see how I go undoing the 10mm. This needs an 8mm here. Get the bleeder moving. I think that will come undone. I'm going to give it a bit of a spray with oil and see how I go after I've removed the bleeder, whether I can get the 10mm out, which then releases that whole hose. Yes, that worked for me. I took the bleeder rubber cap off, which meant I could get an 8mm ring spanner. Eagle-eyed can see that's a 5/16 spanner. I've lost my 8mm, but this one is a damn near perfect fit. Having a ring on there means that you're less likely to round the bleeder off if it's tight. So that came out, that leaving bigger access to put the spanner. Still have to use an open ender, but you got room to swing it there, and it broke loose fairly easily. That was worth removing that to get to that rather than potentially rounding it off. I've now got the ability to move that hose out of the way. I've been able to get the 4 A-arms in the basket and a bucket of bolts. The main tub is full of water with some detergent in it, and then because I've got such a big components in there, there's, as I said, 4 of the A-arms are there with only this much sticking out on one of them. And then there's space in the middle of the A-arms for that butter bucket. And I've got Kero or petrol or whatever's been laying around in there. And the whole thing is heating up to nearly 50 degrees. You can see a little bit of activity there. Some movement happening. I've got it dialed in for another 30 minutes. We'll go and see what that looks like in 30 minutes time. All of the bolts from both front ends are in the yellow bucket in the middle, as well as a couple of little brake brackets. I'll give that a mix around, perhaps before it gets another run. Cleaned up these A-arms, painted them. I've just mounted them back on the frame without the rod ends fitted to them, top and bottom. There, they're not done up yet. That's the tie rod ready to install later. The actual rod ends that I removed from the ends of these A-arms are quite solid units. I've taken the rubbers off them, had similar rubbers and clips on the end of them, so I was able to then wire wheel these, have them cleaned out. They actually all had quite a bit of grease in them under the boot, so taking the boot off was probably a little unnecessary. I'll repack it now with that copper grease and install them back in these A-arms ready to go again. It was sort of worth getting those out of the way to clean the A-arms up as well. That's where I'm at with front end stuff at this stage. That's the rod ends back installed, greased up and looking good. And the shocker's just had a bit of a superficial wire wheel on the outside, adjusted, taken up to the highest level. Nothing is tight at the moment, so it's a little bit floppy around. The pushes that A-frame down to a level that makes it a little bit difficult to put the upright in. Can you reach the handlebars? Make it go, Grandpa. Can't reach the pedals?
Beep beep. Beep beep.
What's that? What is it?
Duh.
So I've started taking these brakes hubs, the front brake hubs apart. This is the right hand front. It's all pretty clean inside. The actual spider, when I knocked it out, a bit rust around the hub in the outside, but clean as a whistle inside. I think same on the left hand side. They're the front axles. Brake drums themselves. This is the left hand front brake drum. It's got a little bit more pad, brake pad, than the right hand side. Interesting, this has got visible writing on them here. Same there, I suppose. A little bit thinner, I think. My feeling was the left hand front drum was dirtier on the outside, a little bit dirtier on the inside than the right hand front. I'm going to take all that apart, clean it thoroughly, take the backing plate off the hub itself. I think the brake wheel cylinders are fine. I think I tried the front brakes when it was still all together and the wheels appeared to be operational. The brakes seem to be operational. At one stage the left front was locked up, but then when it was freed up I think it was operational again. That's my job for tomorrow. In the meantime, I've got wishbones and brake lines and everything ready to go on the bike. Cleaning brakes is the job tomorrow. Joy. Get out to your shed and have some fun.